Have you ever so desperately wanted to dream about somebody you've lost and nothing came? Or maybe you had such a vivid dream and it was so emotional it stayed with you for years. What about the dreams that we stop having after grief? Not just sleeping dreams, but life dreams. My dreams were no longer, and I wanted so desperately to dream about my loved one. And sometimes I didn't because I would wake up and realize it was just a dream. You know, the dreams for our future, what we used to have, what we used to believe, what we wanted for ourselves. I want to talk about both of these today. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. When my dad passed away, he died in an automobile accident, and I didn't want to go to sleep because I would dream that he was still here, still alive, and then I would wake up and realize it was just a dream. That was just so painful for me. After I lost my son, I desperately wanted to have dreams, but I couldn't. I didn't remember them. I don't know why I wasn't dreaming, but I didn't have any. Other people had dreams and they reached out to me and shared those dreams, and those can be so meaningful and bring such comfort and peace, and I know they did for me. Some dreams feel heavy and emotional. I had one of Brad's friends reach out to me, and she didn't know who I was, but she felt compelled to tell me. And she asked if she could, and I said sure. And that dream has stayed with me for years since I heard it. It was so vivid and so heartwarming that I'll never forget it. She dreamed that she was walking on the beach, and they were in Florida at the time, and it was raining, pouring down rain. Way off in the distance, she saw this little beam of light shining on the beach. She's like, I wonder what that is. And she went up to see what it was, and as she got closer, she saw that the beam of light was shining down on a person. And then she realized it was Brad with his long curly hair, and when she got really close to him, he turned around and said, with a big smile, "Tell everybody it's beautiful here, and I'll see you later." That dream has brought so much peace to my life. And honestly, dreams can deeply connect us. So why do dreams change during grief? There is some psychology behind this. And part of the reason is because grief affects our sleep cycles. Stress hormones disrupt our REM sleep. The REM sleep is that sleep where you're not in that deep sleep and you have the rapid eye movement. Trauma can suppress that, and it can also suppress your dream recall. Our nervous systems are exhausted and prioritize survival. Dreams can also elicit symbolism and nightmares. REM sleep is where emotional processing happens. Your brain's trying to organize all your memories, your emotions, fear, longing, regret, attachment. And dreams can actually be one of the ways the brain tries to process the overwhelming emotional experience. Now, some people never remember dreams, and then they start having dreams all of a sudden after intense loss. There's so much we don't completely understand about consciousness, memory, intuition, and dreams. There's a mystery surrounding dreams. I believe that dreams are spiritual. They take us to another realm, another possibility, a different level of consciousness that we don't really fully understand. I've read that we only use like 10% at most of our brains. So why can't we open up that consciousness, that energy to connect to something bigger? I believe that we can. And I'm not here to prove anything, but I do want to say that I don't think anybody fully understands dreams. Some people see them as psychology processing. Others feel like they're spiritual experiences, like I do. Visitations. I've had some visitations in my dreams. Symbols or messages. And maybe they're all of those things. There's a lot of emotional healing that can happen through dreams, and sometimes dreams reveal unresolved feelings, and they reveal how we're connected to our loved ones. Now I want to talk about living dreams, and stay till the end because I have several questions that you may want to write down that can help you get back to these living dreams if you're struggling. Grief doesn't only affect the dreams that we have when we're sleeping. It can steal the dreams that we have when we're awake. It can shrink our lives, put us in survival mode, no motivation, we feel numb, lack of joy. But the most healing thing that we can do is start to dream again. And the questions may help you zone in on this a little bit better. Taking a class, traveling, painting again, getting healthy, starting over, moving somewhere peaceful, creating a community, falling in love with life again, or building something meaningful from your pain. My son was impacted by substance use disorder, so I got involved with an organization called Ohio Can, which stands for Change Addiction Now. I've volunteered countless hours, and we've given away thousands and thousands of dollars to help people in early recovery, because sometimes just a little gift of love, which we call them, can help somebody maintain their recovery. I've formed so many wonderful relationships. I've learned so much about the disease of addiction, and every time I see someone that is doing well, it makes me feel like Brad's life continues to have purpose even after he's not here. I'll tell you a story. I've been working out lately. I went to the gym, and this young guy comes up to me, and he said, "Do you remember me?" I couldn't remember him. And he said, "Well, I'm Jake." He did give me permission to use his name. "I'm Jake, and several years ago, I had overdosed and I was in the hospital. And you came to visit me, and I came in with nothing. I didn't even have shoes. And I mentioned that to you, that I didn't have any shoes. And you ran home and got me a pair of Bradley's shoes and brought them back to me." And he goes, "I've never forgotten that." I didn't really even remember the kid's name until he started telling me the story, and then I remembered, yes. And that was all from me trying to make something meaningful from my pain. What a beautiful experience. I couldn't have ever anticipated that. So I've talked a little bit about the law of attraction, and our brains are really, really powerful. What we focus on, what we picture, what we emotionally connect with starts to shape our actions, our nervous system, and even what we notice in the world. I was trying to explain this to a person, and I said, I was at work, and I said, "Look out the window. Just think of," I said, "red car." And I looked out the window, and a red car went by. Now, that red car may have gone by before, but I was not focused on that. And what we focus on enlarges in our lives. So are you focusing on joy? Or are you focusing on heartache? I know it's hard to avoid the heartache, but we can focus on capsules of joy and things that we have dreams about to make our world a little bigger and a little brighter. That's why I really love the idea of vision boards and journaling future dreams and looking at homes or places that you want to go, gardens, trying to find a future version of yourself emotionally where you're not cloaked with this heavy burden of grief. Giving yourself permission to imagine life again. Maybe grief changes our dreams forever, but it doesn't have to change us forever too. I don't believe dark moments are meant to end our story. Sometimes they become the very thing that awakens us to deeper purpose, deeper compassion, deeper connection, and more meaningful dreams than we ever imagined before. Not because pain feels good, because we slowly learn how to carry it differently. If you're listening today and you're feeling stuck and grief has taken hold of your life, your hope, your nervous system, your ability to dream again, I want you to know that you don't have to walk through that alone. That's why I do this work. That's why I create conversations and healing experiences and retreats to help you come back to yourself. I have several questions that I want to share with you and help you latch on to some of these dreams again. Okay, do you have a pencil and a piece of paper? I want you to write these down. These are some questions to help you start dreaming again. What if fear isn't running the show? What do I want my life to feel like 1 year from now? What have I stopped allowing myself to hope for? If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I try? What dreams keep quietly returning to my heart? What did I once love before survival mode took over? These questions are designed to help you reconnect with some joy. What makes me lose track of time? When was the last time I felt fully alive? Was it a place? Was it a season? Was it an activity? What activities bring me peace, curiosity, or excitement? What's something that I loved doing as a child? What would bring more beauty into my everyday life? Now, here are some questions to help spur creativity and expression. What creative thing have I been putting off? I know for myself, I signed up for oil paintings at Milan Art Institute, and I've put it on the back burner for months, and I've rekindled that. So I'm going to be giving myself permission to move forward in that school. What if I gave myself permission to be messy? What would I create? What emotions need expression instead of suppression? Are you holding something in that you need to let out? What would happen if I created for healing instead of perfection? What small creative practice could I start in just 5 minutes a day? Could I doodle? Could I draw? Could I make something new, knit, crochet, needlepoint? 5 minutes a day. These questions are for your body, health, and energy. How do I want my body to feel? A lot of times we focus on how we look. But how do you want to feel? I want to feel strong and fit and energized. What would caring for my body look like right now? What habits are draining my energy? What's one small step to make me feel stronger physically and emotionally? What would it be like to truly prioritize myself? Maybe that means getting up extra early and making sure you get that self-care routine in. First thing in the day, before it goes off by the wayside. So what about your house and your environment? What kind of environment makes me feel calm and safe? What changes would make my space feel lighter and more peaceful? Is there clutter in my life that's reflecting some kind of emotional heaviness? What do I need to let go of? What would my dream, creative, or healing space look like? Have you created your own little space? If you don't have a room, maybe an office. This room doubles as my granddaughter's bedroom, as you can see, and my creative space. I have a desk here with my markers and a shelf with some creative things that I can come in here when she's not here and just create. What kind of a life am I trying to build around me? Okay, let's move on to some relationships and community questions. Who in your life makes you feel safe, inspired, and supported? Where do I feel most understood? Are you in some type of group or support organization and you don't feel like you fit in? What kind of relationships do I want more of? Do you surround yourself with people that lift you up or suppress you? So what kind of boundaries would create more peace in my life? What would it look like to allow myself to receive support? It's hard asking for help, but people want to help. In fact, letting someone help you is like giving them a gift. Let's move on to some purpose and some meaning. What if the pain that I survived could help somebody else? What lessons has grief taught me about life? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What feels deeply meaningful to me now? And how might my darkest moments be shaping a greater purpose? Future dreams. What places do I want to visit? What experiences do I still want to have? What would my most peaceful life look like? If I could reinvent the next chapter of my life, what would it include? What dream feels impossible but whispers in your ear anyway? So here's what I want you to think about. Maybe the goal isn't to move on. Maybe the goal is to slowly begin opening back up your life, to allow yourself to imagine, create, hope, and to dream. Not in spite of grief, but beside it. If you're still listening and you feel stuck and grief has taken hold of your life, your hope, your nervous system, or your ability to dream again, know that you don't have to walk through this alone. That's why I do this work. That's why I create these conversations and communities, retreats, and healing experiences to help you slowly come back to you. So in the meantime, keep creating, keep feeling, and keep coming back to you. And I'll be right here with you on the journey. Don't forget to join the school. And if you would like some one-on-one coaching or support, please reach out to me. I'm here to help.